Hey guys, so this is what we're going to do tonight. It's algebraic concepts. It's a foldable. So the first thing you're going to do is you're going to fold it in half like this so that your vocab words are on the top. And then you're going to take your paper and your scissors, and I'm just going to have you guys cut just along the top part of these lines. Make sure you don't cut the bottom part. This in the middle should stay flat while you're cutting the top portions. So now your foldable should look like this, and you should be able to open any one that you want. Okay, so first one we're going to do is equation. Keyword is equa, right? So that shows you that it has a what? Has an equal sign in it, right? Okay, so equation has an equal sign. An equation is a statement that two expressions are equal. And here's an example of it. We could do 2x plus 4 equals 28. This is one expression, and this is your second expression. This whole thing, though, is your equation. Make sense? Okay. So, that leads us into what is an expression. Well, an expression contains numbers, variables, and operations, and has no equal sign. Okay? So there's two types of expressions. There is an algebraic expression and a numerical expression. An algebraic expression contains variables. Okay? So, for instance, an algebraic expression could be P, or you could have 2Q, or you could have 2x squared minus 5. Okay, makes sense? Anything that has the variable in it is an algebraic expression. A numerical expression is anything that does not have a variable and has, you got it, numbers. So an example would be 4 or 52 minus 6, right? Or anything like that. Okay? So, this so far, we have an equation has an equal sign, right? It says that two expressions are equal. An expression, so like up here, this was an algebraic expression, and this one was a numerical expression. Okay. So, very good. All right. So now we're going to go to variable. A variable is just letters in math that we use to represent one or more numbers. And we like to call them unknowns because we don't know what they represent usually. So, for instance, 2x. The whole thing isn't a variable. Only the x is the variable. Right? If we had q would be the variable. And if we had 4x squared minus 6, only x would be the variable. So the variable is only the letter. So you can think of letters to help you remember. Okay? Make sense? All right. Now we're going to do a coefficient. Notice, coefficient. What do you think of when you hear co-captain or co-teacher or co-worker or cooperation, right? That all tells you that they work together, right? So the coefficient works together. So on the inside, the coefficient is the numerical factor of an algebraic term. So for instance, an example would be 2x. When we said x was the variable, 2 is the coefficient. If we were to say, here's another example. I've taught you guys this a little bit already. But if you just had the letter, well, you just had q minus 4, right? The coefficient out here is really 1. Okay? Because anything times 1 is the same thing. So that would be the coefficient as well. The coefficient is always in front of the variable. They are BFFs. Okay? Makes sense. So, we've got an equation, two expressions that are equal. Expression, algebraic expression that has variables, which we learned right here are letters, and then numerical expressions do not have variables and only have numbers. Variables are letters that we use, and the coefficient is the best friend, or the co-captain, or the co-teacher. It works together with the variable, always in front of the variable. Okay. So now we're going to look at the term constant. Constant. If somebody is always constant in your life, it means it's always there. Or if it's in constant motion, it means it's non-changing. Right? Okay? So the constant is a term with no algebraic factors. Okay, so for instance, if I have, let's do 4x plus 2 equals 18. All right? 2 is a constant. Also, 18 is a constant. 4x is not, though, because it has a letter in it. It has a variable, and that makes it an algebraic factor, or a factor with variables. Does that make sense? So a constant is only a number that stands alone. Okay. Making sense? Yeah? You with me? All right. Here's the tricky part. Okay. Last but not least is a term. Term. If you're thinking about a term, right, like a word, it's a part of equation, expression, or equation. I'll explain. So, there we go. Part of an expression. So, if I have, let's see, 2x plus 4 equals 9. This has 3 terms. Okay? Oh, and terms are separated by addition and subtraction signs. So it's every piece except the addition or subtraction sign. So this would be 1 term, this would be 2 terms, and this would be 3 terms. Everybody get that? Okay. Now, notice that they're not separated by division or multiplication, because right here is actually multiplication, right? But they're put together. So if I gave you one like, let's say, let's do 2x cubed minus 6y plus 29 minus 4, right? This is where it gets a little tricky. This is still one whole term. Do you agree? Okay. But you learned that subtracting is the same thing as adding a negative, right? So this is actually negative 6y. That's a term, right? This would be 29. And this, we don't even have to change it. It would just be what? Negative 4 would be a term too, because you would be adding a negative if you really wanted to. Does that make sense? So this has 4 terms. The difference between these two is this is an equation because it has your equal sign, and this is an expression because it has no equal sign. Okay? I also want to jump back up here to an equation. Here I said that you had an algebraic expression and a numerical expression. You could also have 2 algebraic expressions. You could have 2x plus 4 equals x minus 6, right? And this would be algebraic on both sides, expressions. And then this, whoops, and then you could do 15 minus 6 equals 9, right? These are both expressions, but they're both what? Numerical expressions. So, all right, let's go back through all of this together. An equation has an equal sign, and it says that 2 expressions are equal, one on either side. Okay? You can have an algebraic expression or a numerical expression, either one, it doesn't matter, or you could have a combination of the two on either side, but there is always, always, always an equal sign in the middle. Okay. Next is expression. An expression contains numbers, variables, and operations and has no equal sign. So it looks the same Same as an equation, except there's no equal sign, right? It's just separated by adding and subtracting signs. It has terms, variables, it has all that good stuff in it. Variables are letters, okay? So 2x, the whole thing 2x is a term. X is the variable, and 2 is the coefficient, okay? And the coefficient, best friends with the variable, always in front, okay? So the variable is always the letter, the coefficient is always the number in front of the letter. The constant is always the number that's by itself, 2 or 18, okay? And then the term is every part of the expression or equation separated by add or subtract signs. So 2x, 4, 9. Here we also learned, though, that when it's subtracting, it's a negative 6y. And here would be a negative 4. Okay? Very good. Thank you for watching my video.